Back at it, baby.
Yeah.
Back at it.
Back up. We're good.
Back up. Man. How you feeling?
I'm moving again. Cane. Every few steps I need my cane, but less and less. But I was just watching you try to turn your head. Now you got to turning to the right isn't so easy for you, is it?
No, this is ridiculous. This is the extent. I almost feel weird looking to the right. I just don't look at. I don't turn to the right. Yeah. Everywhere I go is like I'm turning left. If I gotta turn right, I don't leave the house in my truck.
I'm an ambi-turner. Remember the movie?
What movie is that?
Oh man, I just forgot the name of
it. Dude, he's still on meds, y'all. He's still on meds.
Dude.
Oh.
Were you on any good meds after your surgery?
They gave me all the good shit. They gave me, what was it? Oxy and then Flexerol. Flexerol, like just an anti-inflammatory.
Okay.
Luckily I didn't need it. I took it the first maybe 3 days, and honestly, I was just doing that when I was going to bed. Like throughout the day, I was drug free.
Yeah.
I felt good, man. The inflammation was something serious though. Like all of this shit was just like tight.
Yeah.
Like super tight. But yeah, man.
Yeah.
You back, man. Welcome to the Alpha Geek Podcast, where we embrace our geekdom and respect everyone else's. It's been a long time.
Yeah.
It felt like we've been going for like 6 months.
Yeah.
But it's only been, what, 4 weeks?
4 weeks.
4 weeks. Yeah, man, we're back at it. There's a lot going on. What's going on in the world?
Man.
What's not going on in the world? Right?
What's not going on? Yeah, it's funny, like being out for 4 weeks and I got to relearn how to use all our gear to make these podcasts, so the whole production quality. Of course, being laid up on the couch, what do? We can play only video games and get on Amazon and order new boom arms for the microphone.
Yeah, it's like a total upgrade, man. If y'all can see in here, I walked in and I was like, what the fuck is going on? We got new arms, we got new stands, we got new everything, which I'm very appreciative of. For real. So I appreciate it.
Yeah, man.
We need to just beat his ass and so he's laid up. Buy some new shit.
My big thing is like I always love building stuff, like whether it's guitar kits or building out a podcast studio, or one of my goals at one time was try to make a music studio. Like,
oh shit.
Yeah. But that's expensive.
Yeah.
And
that's an undertaking.
You need an engineering degree to do that.
That's an undertaking, dude. Me on the other hand, I sat on my ass and just tried. I caught up on every show.
Oh yeah,
I caught up on every show that I was just missing the ball on. I caught up on the morning show, Apple Plus. I watched the first 3 seasons of The Boys again. Bass is that Taylor Sheridan show. He's like the first black lawman in Texas. Bass something.
Was that on Apple?
That is on Paramount.
Okay.
Paramount Plus. It's a good show. Caught up on a bunch of trash TV, 90 Day Fiance, Love Island. Love Island. The newest season of Love Island is crazy, man. These motherfuckers just don't. It's so weird when you put people in certain situations, how their character just kind of comes through, and like people are shitty.
Yeah.
People are shitty, and people who are looking for attention are even shittier.
Oh yeah.
It's so crazy, dude. It's so crazy. Have you ever watched Love Island?
No.
So basically the premise is it's almost like a Bachelor in Paradise or a Bachelor type thing. You bring 5 women in and they come in, they introduce themselves. Hey, I'm Monica, I'm this, I'm that. And then they stand up in a line and wait for the first 5 guys to come in. When the guys come in individually, they get to pick what woman they want to couple up with. So this is their couple. And they're isolated just in a resort. It's just them. They can't go anywhere. They can't do anything. So all day, every day. They're just staring in each other's fucking faces and have nothing else to do. And they're boozing up at the same time. So, that adds another aspect. So every time a guy comes in, the guy's like, oh, she's attractive. I want to couple up with her. Next guy comes in, she's attractive. I want to couple up with her. But the next guy that comes in can couple up with any girl, even if they're already coupled up with a dude.
Oh, wow.
So just off a rip, like motherfuckers are just like mad at each other, hating on each other, but they gotta act like they like each other because they gotta be in this resort with these people for the next like 6 weeks.
Yeah.
So it's just a weird concept. It's crazy, man.
Where's the island?
It's in so they got a resort in Hawaii. So every year it kind of switches up.
Okay.
They're in Hawaii this year, and it's crazy, man. That's all it is. It's just them looking at each other. They don't get to lead. They don't get to do anything. They just drink and talk shit about each other to other people in the resort. It's crazy.
So other islands, like how many seasons is there?
This is the 4th season of it.
Dang.
Yeah. And I mean,
you've seen all 4?
Yes, absolutely. And these couples don't last. I mean, I think one of the couples from all of the seasons actually last. I mean, these things aren't meant to last. But the prize is $100,000.
Okay.
So if you can make it throughout the show, through the entire time, you get to go in the competition and you win $100,000. But the kicker is they bring in new women and men like every 3 to 4 days. So if you're coupled up with somebody, hey, I'm starting to like this guy, I think we can make it. They just bring in like 3 new chicks.
Oh, jeez. So it's like everyone's just like hooking up with everyone and whoever lasts the longest. So is it like Survivor? Like people get voted out, or if somebody breaks up with you, you're like, you're out. Yeah.
If someone breaks up with you, they go through like an elimination thing. And if you don't get picked, so basically the way it works is if you get broken up with, that's around the time when they start introducing new people. And if none of these new people couple up with you, you're out. So everybody's like, oh, I'm so in love with blah, blah, blah. But then someone else comes in and all of a sudden they're in love with this new person after, talking to them for 30 seconds.
Wow.
It's the worst, but it's the best. Love Island. Yeah.
I will tell you this much. I started watching some wrestling.
Yeah,
it's been forever.
Oh man, now you speaking my language.
But it was a club. Is that the right word? And I never heard of. So it wasn't like WWF or WE. Oh, jeez, what? There was like
AEW. You got it's a bunch of.
Well, Ric Flair showed up.
Oh, so I think that is AEW.
Something like that. Yeah. I was like, damn, I don't even know. Like Ric Flair, he's looking old. I was like, crazy. Oh man. And then Undertaker, was it Undertaker was with him? I can't remember an other older wrestler that they used to wrestle all the time.
Really? I wonder who it was.
I'm trying to remember.
Yeah, AEW, they're actually doing big things though.
Oh really?
They're chasing the WWE. There'll never be, no one will ever be as big as the WWE. But AEW, for what they have accomplished to this point, is pretty good. Yeah. They bringing in, they just brought in Edge, Christian is there, and they have Chris Jericho. I think Johnny Omega is there or coming over. So
yeah.
But Ric Flair is way too fucking old to be wrestling.
Dude, he looks so like, I don't think he's wrestling. I don't know if he was wrestling, but he just popped up in the ring and was like talking about how amazing it was that he went up against, man, I wish I could remember who he was with.
Who was it?
I can't remember, but he was like mentioning all these names like Macho Man and what was it? Bundy, King Kong Bundy, Sergeant Slaughter, like all these old school guys. So crazy.
Did you know? Did you watch the Ric Flair documentary?
No.
So Ric Flair is like, he's a drinker still to this day. Ric Flair is first of all, I think he's too old to be wrestling. He's over 70 years old, but also his body has been just abused by alcohol. And it's just, I watched the documentary. Hulk Hogan actually tells a story about So Triple H is the CFO, I believe, the CFO of the WWE now. He used to wrestle. Now he's front office. But when Ric Flair was still with the company, Triple H was like, you just got to stop. You can't stay here.
Yeah.
You're abusing alcohol. You got to go to rehab. So Triple H sends him to rehab. Gets to Florida and is at this rehab place. On the way to the rehab, he stops and gets booze.
Oh,
like one last hurrah.
Yeah.
One last hurrah. So he gets hammered, goes to rehab. I think he said he left rehab and walked across the street to the bar and got hammered.
Jeez.
Yep. Fast forward, I think he had open heart surgery. Dang. And Hulk Hogan went to see him after surgery. Hulk Hogan tells a story. He says, as soon as Rick woke up, he asked me to go get him a 6-pack.
Oh my God.
As soon as he wakes up from the surgery, Rick's a drinker, man.
Jeez.
It's crazy.
I can't. Ever since my surgery, I haven't had a single drink for the last 4 weeks.
Really?
Yeah.
Why?
So crazy. I don't know. I just well, I've lost 8 pounds lying on the couch and not drinking any beer. Well,
Really?
I'm a beer drinker. It's like IPAs. It's all high calorie and like.
So are you one of those people, like when you're uncomfortable, you can't eat or drink? Is that you as a person?
No, I think it was just because I didn't want to, like, I was so freaked out about because I was on Oxy. They gave me Tramadol. And so I was freaked out about people always talking about they get hooked on Oxy. So I was like, I ain't going to be that guy.
Yeah.
And I know you can't mix booze with that stuff. So I wasn't drinking, and Wendy was just like, you're not drinking.
Wendy putting her foot down.
Yeah, she did.
Well, that makes one of us, because I've been
like,
eating. I've been doing pretty well, but I have a glass of wine a night. I'm a red wine type of guy.
Yeah.
I'll have one.
That's supposed to be good for your heart though, right?
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Let's go with that one.
Yeah. But eating, I actually have been doing pretty well. And like you, I'm so afraid that being sedentary and eating like shit is just going to destroy my body. So, me and Jamie been keeping it real tight from a diet standpoint, and I've been, moving again. I can't lift anything, but I go on the elliptical, and I'll spend like an hour on the elliptical, and I'm not just cruising. I'm digging.
Yeah.
Digging on it, and I'll burn like 1,200 calories in an hour on the elliptical. Jeez. I turn the resistance all the way up, turn the incline all the way up, and just go. And it's like a puddle of sweat around me, and I feel like, all things considered, it's pretty good for what I'm able to do. So
yeah,
keep that going.
Did you see Dana White get interviewed? I think he was on a podcast, some dude's podcast, and they were talking about stationary bikes and basically they were talking about Peloton. And like Peloton told this dude, you need to pull some sort of ad off of your podcast. And the dude was like, why is Peloton telling me I got to pull this ad? And Dana White was like, he was just like, screw them, don't do that. He's like, and he looks off camera and like is probably one of their gym managers. I think they were in one of the UFC gyms. And he's like, do we have any Peloton bikes here? And he's like, yeah, we do. He's like, pull them out of the gym. Pull them out of the gym.
Shit,
he's like, that's not a real workout anyway. But didn't you have at your gym, not Pelotons, but they mentioned another bike. What was the
iFit?
The hit?
Oh, the assault bikes.
Assault bikes.
Yeah. I have the assault bikes.
What's the difference between a Peloton and that?
So Peloton is just like a spin bike.
Okay.
It's basically, and they have the screen up there, so it's the pre-programmed workouts that you can do. Assault bike is just the arms, and you just dig. It's mindless.
Yeah.
You just go and you just push as hard as you can, and it's a full body workout because now you have the arms, you engage the arms and everything like that. So assault bikes are legit.
Yeah.
Those things they'll crush you. And it all comes down to the work you're willing to put in while on it, but they're legit.
It was just funny when he was like ripping on Peloton. He's like, let's see who the president of the Peloton is.
Dana White though, I'm telling you, Dana don't give a fuck, dude.
No.
Dana, he was talking about the acquisition. So PFL, another organization, just bought Bellator, and they asked Dana about it. Dana's like, what do you think about the merger or the acquisition? PFL is buying Bellator. He's like, what do you think about it? He's like, you have an organization with no fighters that no one's watching by another organization that has no fighters that no one else is watching. What the fuck you think is going to happen? Dude, Dana is, you got to respect it though.
Yeah.
You got to respect it. They built that UFC from, I think, what was the initial, like $4 million?
Yeah. I remember seeing it was really low.
And they would, when they sold, it was, what was like 4 billion, something like that, 4.2 billion. Man, you gotta, dude, it's proof in the pudding. Man.
Yeah.
I'm a true believer that people don't see, they just see the sexy parts of being wealthy, right?
Yeah.
You don't see all the work. And of course, there's exceptions to that rule. There's some people have, family money and, silver spoon and stuff like that. But some people just go and get that shit.
Yep.
And he's one of those people.
Yeah.
He's one of those people. And same thing like Vince McMahon, for example. Vince had a hand up. He had a little help. Yeah. But he turned the WWE into a $20 billion company. That's crazy. And that dude is he's such a hard worker, man. Yeah. And that energy is what you need to be successful.
Yeah.
You can't be successful without that energy in some capacity.
And it's putting on like dance competitions. Okay, so to relate production to production, I know how much it costs to put on a dance competition locally. Right. You got to meet these food and beverage minimums. You have the hotel room guarantees, you have like the actual production, bringing in floor, light, sound, all this. I was watching, I can't remember what match it was WWE, but the production behind it, the amount of money that goes into like trying to put these things on, I can't even wrap my head around how much it actually costs. But
and it's automatic too. They do that shit night in and night out.
Crazy.
They have shows Monday night, Tuesday night, Wednesday night. Then they have house shows on Thursday nights. Or no, they don't do house shows on Thursday nights. Sunday nights they do house shows. Friday nights they have SmackDown, another televised show, and then they have pay-per-views once a month on Saturdays. It's
once a month. I didn't know that.
Whoa. Pay-per-views once a month. Triple H is going to give all the competitors Christmas off. First time ever in company history.
So how did
Christmas off? How
did Triple H become the? Was he president or?
Now he married Stephanie McMahon, Vince's daughter. Okay. And I mean, everybody knew that Triple H had ambition to move up in the company. He ends up marrying Stephanie, gradually moves up. You gotta look out for fam, right?
Yeah.
And he's CFO.
Wow.
And, he's killing it though. Yeah. He grew up in the business under Vince McMahon. He was groomed. Yeah. So, and you take that and then you give a more modern twist on, because no matter how successful and no matter how hardworking someone is, there's always going to be a disconnect based on age. Yeah. You don't, when you get to a certain age, you don't know how to optimize certain aspects of the business as much as, someone who is younger, has a fresh eye on it could. And Triple H that fresh eye. So, and they're crushing it. Yeah. I mean, they pack out every state. They basically are making the fans do exactly what they want them to do, and the fans don't know it. And that's a telltale sign of, being a true entertainer. Mm-hmm. You oppose your will onto the fan. Yeah. Right.
Speaking of growing up in the business, I think Dwayne The Rock Johnson was on Joe Rogan talking about how he got into wrestling. Yeah. And his dad was a wrestler. And then when he showed a photo of his dad, I was like, oh my God, I forgot I didn't realize that was his dad. When I saw him, I was just like, okay, that's
Soul Man Rocky Johnson. Yeah. Yeah, man. Yeah. I mean, and that's, again, another hard worker. It's like you just learn. And Rocky Johnson, from the stories that are told, wasn't necessarily the hardest worker. He was just genetically gifted, and but you see the mistakes and then you fix them. Yeah. And
because his dad, I don't think his dad wanted him to get into the business, and then when he try it out or something like that. If anybody hasn't seen that interview, it's really good. I mean, the way The Rock obviously tells his own story is amazing. But like, dude, that dude had a chance shot right away from the get-go.
Oh yeah.
Like,
yeah, sure.
he didn't have to do the backyard, any of that stuff.
Yeah.
So like,
well, he's a genetic specimen, right?
Yeah.
He was like 6'4", 250 pounds, and he came off football was his thing. He wanted to be a professional football player,
okay.
and it was all hands on deck with that. He played at the U, Miami. Then he went on. He didn't make the pros, so he ended up playing in Canadian football. Did that for a couple seasons, and didn't make it there. And then finally like, fuck it, I'm going into the business.
Yeah.
Which he again, Rocky Johnson did it, so he had a little bit of a bump.
Yeah.
And so I mean, but look at what happened. You turn like so many wrestlers go in and just have a good wrestling career or a great wrestling career, but you got guys like him, the John Cena's, the Miz, who are able to parlay that into more stardom, more opportunities. So,
speaking of John Cena, Peacemaker, did you watch it?
love it.
You loved it?
You love it.
Do you like John Cena as as an actor? I don't know. I just
I think if you let me say this in the best possible way. I think if you go in expecting too much, you won't like it.
Okay.
But if you go in and just watch and just no expectation, like Peacemaker is actually a really good show, man.
Okay.
It's one of the better DC properties out there.
Huh.
It helps that James Gunn is attached to it.
Yeah.
But no, he's hilarious. He is great at playing a mindless jock, which is, which, is probably pretty close to home for,
right.
and because people, that's what they expect them to be. But, and using the popularity coming off the WWE to do this, I mean, he's another one that just like made shit happen. He's been acting now for a decade, just doing acting. So,
because he did like a cameo in, what was it? Not Matt Damon. There was a movie where Mark Wahlberg was like the dad, and like, oh man, what the hell's that name of that movie?
Oh,
Stepdad or something like that.
Will Ferrell.
Will Ferrell.
Yeah. What was that movie? Yeah, he was in that. And he ended up being the stepdad to Mark Wahlberg's kids. Yeah.
And he rolled up. I was like, so funny. But
oh man.
But when I saw him like pop up in that movie, I was like, huh. I mean, that was cool, that cameo appearance. I was like, okay, he looks tough. He looks tougher than Mark Wahlberg, but
yeah, right.
I don't know.
Yeah, Cena's the man, dude. I give guys like that props because it's so easy to get typecast into like that professional wrestler thing, and it actually took you got to be willing to get out of your comfort zone.
Yeah,
like The Rock was willing to get out of his comfort zone. He went on Saturday Night Live. He played some roles that you don't know how they're going to go. You don't know how the fans are going to, like, he did a Tooth Fairy thing. So you don't know how fans are going to take it. But he just was like, fuck it. And just let's see what happens. And it worked out for him.
It was, who was, like, I think I was watching Hulk Hogan, like, and he did, their whole Rockies. They were like playing nonstop when I was out. And I was watching all the Rockies, and we watched both Creeds. And then Hulk Hogan in Rocky was freaking awesome.
He was awesome.
But like in all the other movies he's done, I was like, oh man, he could have been so much more. But
yeah, and that was around the time where, it was just cool to have a wrestler in a movie. Like they could just, Andre the Giant in
Princess Bride.
It's like they just kind of are there. What was his name? Thunder Lips in Rocky. Thunder Lips. He was awesome. But he did No Holds Barred too. Remember No Holds Barred?
I do.
Yeah,
I don't remember.
Was awesome. He was awesome in that.
What was it? I can't remember what the.
It was like him and Zeus. Zeus was like the antagonist. He was the dude. He had the big Z cut into the side of his head. Yeah. He was like this unstoppable. They actually did that in the WWE at the time. They reran that because it was so popular, and of course you want to promote the movie, so they had Tiny. I forget his last name. He was in Friday. He was Debo in Friday. So he was an actor. And he was a professional wrestler for a while. He did that whole thing, but at the time, people just wanted to see that Hulk Hogan was bigger than life at the time, so.
Princess Bride, one of my all-time favorite movies, by the way. Just
is it?
Oh, dude.
Yeah,
it was
a good movie.
Again, 4 weeks on the couch. I've been watching so much. I caught up on, I finished Loki, oh God. Can't remember the other show. I've watched so much TV that I can't. It's all like running together. Oh, we're almost done with Suits, by the way.
You have been watching a lot. You have watched a lot of TV. Holy shit! Yeah. That's all you did was watch TV.
I watch TV and play Assassin's Creed Valhalla. It's a good game. Zoolander. That was the movie I was thinking of. I'm an ambi turner.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Did you watch the sequel? There's a sequel.
I didn't.
I didn't even know there was a sequel until like 6 months ago. And it's like, there's a sequel to Zoolander. What? And I watched it. It's not as good, obviously.
Right. With Will Ferrell and...
Yeah. They're all in it.
Wow.
Ben Stiller's in it. So it's like his kid, he has a illegitimate kid. And he goes and finds. It's so funny.
Yeah, it's hilarious.
It's hilarious, man. Yeah, man.
Movies. Did you see, I don't know if this is real, but like on my YouTube feed, Terminator. New Terminator is coming out.
I haven't seen the trailer, but not surprised though.
So yeah, I guess, I don't know if it's, how some people make these like bogus kind of trailers, but it says Terminator 7, 2024. It's going to be Arnold like reprising different decade or different movies where future T-1000 or whatever comes back and like is fighting. I don't know. Maybe in the comments if you guys seen the trailer, let us know if it's real or not.
Man, they need to hang it up. Like the Arnold and Sly, they need to hang it up, dude. Stay behind the camera. Or you got to have a really heavily CG'd movie. I mean, it's, they're old and they're great. They look great for their age, but you are 75, man. And, come on, man.
Yeah.
Like we you know what? Tulsa King is pretty damn good though. I dig Tulsa King. Sly is, but Sly actually reveals his real age and like on camera he's like, I'm 75 years old.
Wow.
So
he was because we finally watched Creed 2 and he was awesome, like playing that role as a mentor and as a guy. I mean
that's awesome.
It was so great.
Yeah.
But like he didn't try to get in the ring. There's no like fighting anymore. And the whole Creed franchise I really liked. Although I did hear he's not in the third one and I was like,
he's not in the third one.
Of it.
Yeah, he said that, well, in the second one, even on camera, they made it pretty obvious that he was kind of passing the torch to Michael B. Jordan.
Yeah.
But no one knew what that really means as far as being in front of the camera. But he did an interview saying that the vision that Michael B. Jordan had didn't align with what he had in mind. So he's just totally like, I just gracefully bow out,
I think he was like, because I was reading that he wanted to keep that relationship between Creed and Rocky to be like, what was his original trainer?
Mickey.
Yeah. He wanted that kind of thing. He didn't want to just be the spit guy or the so he still wanted to have some sort of role in it. So I don't know if that's what it was, but I could see that. I mean, it's his baby. Like, how do you?
I get it.
I mean, he passed it over, but I don't know.
Yeah. It's one of those things, like people have their own vision and you never know how the fans are going to take it.
Yeah.
But I honestly liked the third Creed, but I do recognize that it wasn't as good as the previous two. So maybe that's saying something.
Yeah.
What did you think of the Loki finale?
A couple episodes ago, you had mentioned it's okay.
I told you,
okay.
I'm telling you, man. Like the whole him kind of coming in and becoming like the time guy.
Yeah.
I get it, but and that actually gives them ability to go away from the whole Kang, because the Kang thing hasn't really come off like they expected it to. The people who know Kang, they know that is a huge villain, and it should have been way bigger than it was.
Yeah.
And a lot of factors, the whole John Majors, all the stuff that he's going through legally, the poor box office with the movies that are coming out that Marvel putting out now has something to do with it. But I just didn't like the whole. And now, so what happens? Loki's a time guy now.
Yeah.
So is he stuck in this role and then how do you go on from that? How do you build? I mean, and of course, Marvel's going to find a way to build off of it, but is something that the fans are going to be receptive to.
Yeah. I was disappointed with the ending. I agree, like him being like the timekeeper, and I did like the appearance of Short Round in there, and like I liked the characters, but as the storyline went, I was like, really? That's it?
Yeah. I was out of 10, I'll give it a 6.
Yeah.
Give it a 6.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. The actor that plays Kang, he's in Creed.
Yeah,
Creed 3.
Jonathan Majors.
Because that Jonathan Majors. All right.
Yeah, dude, there was a time right before all this legal shit was happening. That dude was in every fucking thing.
Really?
Yes, he's in everything. He's in Lovecraft Country. He was in Creed. He was in a Spike Lee movie that went right to Netflix. I mean, he was becoming that guy in Hollywood.
Okay.
And I don't know what happened with this girl. He pissed somebody.
He
pissed somebody. Well, his girlfriend accused him of assault.
Oh, jeez.
And the thing with that is, if someone accuses you, it's like you're guilty.
Yeah.
In the like public opinion, you're guilty.
Yeah.
And until you prove you're not, and that's what he's been trying to do up until this time. And now it's rough, man. I don't know if he did it or not,
right?
But since then, the female has retracted a lot of the statements that she made. So I don't know. Maybe
that's too bad, because like I never really seen him, I guess, or maybe noticed him, but like him playing Kang and all the different versions of him, and he's a really good actor.
He's a great actor.
And then seeing the previews of Creed 3 that he was the antagonist in that, I was like, damn. And he's like he didn't look nerdy or dorky. I mean, he looked like a beast.
Oh yeah, he's jacked, man. And that storyline was cool though in Creed 3, how he was like kind of the guy that was supposed to be the next big boxer. He ended up getting in trouble because of him, and so that part was pretty cool. But the whole in the ring, and they just getting lost in the fight, and you bypass all the rounds, and now you're towards the end of the fight, and they're all beat. I guess it was cool.
Yeah,
I guess it could have been cool.
Yeah,
but I mean, and maybe it's just a bias to what we're used to seeing in Rocky movies, you know, and even in Creed, with Sly being executive producer, we were still getting Rocky just in a different body and in a different time. But
it's got to be hard when you take a formula that's so successful over how many generations. It's like, when did the first Rocky come out? In 70?
I think it was like 78, 79.
Is it that? I thought it was earlier. Maybe.
Was it earlier?
I don't remember, but I mean, that is the span of our lifetime, how many Rockies have come out. And that was a formula for success, except for Rocky 2. I can't remember which Rocky.
You didn't like Rocky 2?
No, they keep saying, which was the bad Rocky? No, Rocky 2 was really good. That was with, was that with Drago?
No, Rocky 2 was the rematch with Apollo.
That's right.
Yeah,
So
Rocky
2.
3 was the one with Mr. T, and then Rocky 4 was Drago.
Okay. So I don't know. I guess I liked all the Rockies.
I guess Rocky 5, if you had to pick a weak one, it was probably Rocky 5, the one with Tommy Morrison. If you had to pick the weak one, that would probably be it.
Which Tommy Morrison, the character Tommy Morrison, because his real name was like, was it Tommy Morrison? Is that his real name?
Tommy Morrison's real name. Tommy Gunn was his character.
Because he was supposed to be like a legit fighter.
Yeah. Did you hear what happened with that?
Yeah. Isn't he something that like drugs or?
So he was HIV positive.
That's right.
That's what happened. So they retested him like 10 years later and found out that he never had HIV.
Oh.
It was a bad test because he was taking steroids. and it came up as HIV. Yeah. Yeah, lost 10 years of his career. And he was smoking cats.
Yeah.
He was murking dudes. And
Jeez.
he was probably going to be the next heavyweight champion. I mean, he had beat like top 5 guys, top 2 guys. And that happened. And then he came back. After that, he came back and tried to do like MMA fights. And I think he had like 1 or 2 of them. And
yeah, he doesn't look good. Like he looks.
Yeah, no, he's well, he's got to be 55 now, 50, 55. So, yeah.
I'm almost there, and I forgot.
Well, for someone who, obviously abused steroids the majority of their life,
Yeah, man, that's too bad. Speaking of boxers, Keyshawn. Didn't he just win? Like I think he just won.
Keyshawn Davis.
Yeah.
He's that dude's gonna be a beast.
Yeah,
he's gonna be a monster, man. Shout out to Norfolk VA, man.
Yeah.
Like we developed great athletes in the Hampton Roads area as a whole, and I don't know, it's because it's such a melting pot for so many different people. Because people come here because of the military.
Yeah,
people come here and they stay here. Orders, and the orders get over, or they retire and they stay here because I mean, Virginia, all things considered, isn't a bad place to live. The weather's pretty moderate, it's pretty mild. There's things to do. You got DC a click that way. You got Florida, New York a click that way. You got Florida a click that way. Yeah. So, pretty on the East Coast, pretty centrally located.
And the city in itself, Virginia Beach at least, is like growing fast with. Oh my God. Forget this name. Dude, it's still the Oxy and the Tramadol and the...
My man can't remember names.
I can't remember names. Jesus. But with the water park that's being built, like there's a lot of money being put into the city. So I read that in one of the U.S. news that Virginia Beach in itself is becoming one of the largest growing cities and one of the best cities to live in.
Oh, yeah. I believe it. I believe it. It's Virginia Beach is like the closest thing that we have to like a Florida and a California. Yeah. Right? Yeah. I mean, the weather's not as nice, but it's almost there. Yeah. Even in the winter, we might get snow, we might not. I mean, we didn't get snow last year. No. I mean, and even when it does, it doesn't stick. There's beaches, there's restaurants, great food. Yeah. I can
good
see
music scene. Good
music scene. Yeah. Yeah. And then there's, you got the mountains you can go to. You can drive 3 hours and go between the forest, the mountains, and the beach. Yeah. All in 3 hours. Yeah. So you can't beat that.
Yeah. It's good. Speaking of video games.
Were we speaking of video games?
We were speaking of video games. I mean, speaking of things to do and things we've been doing, where we talked about video games earlier, my brain just jumped to when you were talking about, oh my God, we were just talking about Assassin's Creed Valhalla. We were just playing that, but the open world games of Infamous. You were saying that new Infamous, the what's coming out?
So the company that is building, I forgot the name of the company, but they're known for those games like Infamous. They did the sequels. They're making a Blade game.
Blade game, that's it. Yeah.
Blade game that's exclusive. Unfortunately for all you PlayStation owners, going to be exclusive to Xbox. So you might have to get an Xbox to play that. But they're also releasing a Wolverine game as well, and I don't know, that one probably will be exclusive to Xbox as well. I don't know why I know why companies do that, but. Do you think it would be more lucrative in the long run to have all those games be multi-platform?
For sure. Yeah. I mean, so I was watching more TV, and the show was Building America, and it was like video games. Really? And how how PlayStation beat out
Atari?
Not Atari. What was the...
Sega.
Sega. Yeah, beat them out because Sega was all about their machine, and PlayStation was like, we're going to get games, game developers. So game developers are like, I think the biggest thing, and Xbox is like pretty late into the considering the console wars. I mean, Xbox is still relatively new-ish
in comparison. Yeah. But Xbox, but you know, the Microsoft engine is just so strong.
Oh yeah.
You know, and it gives them the ability to do like a lot of shit.
Yeah.
And what did it for Tetris did it for Nintendo. When they did the Tetris Super Mario Brothers bundle, that ended it. That killed it. They killed and Sega kind of kept up for a little while when they released the Genesis and they did the Sonic thing, and then they started doing the bundles as well, the bundle games. But the damage was already done. I think Nintendo is still to this day, and I don't think Nintendo even releases a console anymore.
No.
There's no Nintendo.
Switch, was it? Just
Switch,
Switch is the latest thing.
Yeah, they all do that type of stuff. They do software and the little handheld, you know, portable stuff. But you know, as far as console, they don't even do that shit anymore.
I had my first gaming console. My cousin growing up had the Atari 5200? Was that what it was? The original Atari?
Man.
I didn't get my first game console until it was the Sony PlayStation. Very first one. Then I went PlayStation 1, 2, PlayStation 3. Then all my buddies were playing, and I think Call of Duty came out. Call of Duty came out. And I think it was exclusive for Xbox. Then I ended up buying an Xbox, flipping to Xbox.
Call of Duty was exclusive for Xbox?
I think so.
Was it? I thought it was PlayStation. Because it's PlayStation Now and exclusive to PlayStation Now, correct?
No, Call of Duty is multi-platform, so you can now play PC, Xbox, PlayStation all at the same time.
Okay.
But what was it? I can't remember which game. Oh no, it was Halo. Duh. Halo.
Oh yeah, Halo.
Halo is what we were all playing.
Halo, yeah.
So my
Halo
buddies
changed the game too.
Yeah. But like a bunch of friends were like, we were talking about old consoles, and I was like, I never had the GameCube, I never had a Sega, I never had the original Nintendo, but we did get a Wii.
Had a Wii.
Wendy was like, "Oh, let's try the Wii," and it was fun. I was like, Meh.
"Yeah, keep you active." It's like the active man game. You know, like, we had them all. We had the Atari 2700. We had the Nintendo. We had the Sega Genesis, Sega Saturn,
Saturn,
the Wii, the Dreamcast, the Nintendo 64. Original PlayStation, PS2, PS3. PS3 is where I started to, you know, get out of it. And then the PS4, I got back into it for PS4, and then again started to kind of throttle back from there. But man, I did have an Xbox 360 as well.
Okay.
Yeah, I did. I think the Xbox One is when I started to like be gone.
Yeah,
man. But yeah. Those old consoles, man, they're still cool. You still get them too. Those old Nintendo, I know you can. You know.
My PlayStation 2, what was the big one that was kind of like an elliptical kind of thing, but they would overheat, and then you would get like it would freeze up, and people would say put a towel over it to like, and then turn on, let it run really hot, whatever. I was one of those idiots that did that.
That shit didn't work.
But I put it on YouTube. I put it on eBay, and people bid on it. A bricked out console. Yeah. People still buy that stuff.
People buy that shit.
Yep.
It's kind of the same thing with the old Nintendo. Remember, you blow the cartridge, just blow it, put it back in, shit would overheat. And those first handhelds, I think Sega Saturn had like a handheld that were really cool, but those motherfuckers would eat batteries, man. The battery life was like 20 minutes. You gotta put new batteries in that bitch. Those things are cool.
I still have my PS Vita. Did you ever have one of those?
What is that?
That was the PlayStation's version of a handheld. It was like, it had like these mini discs that you would put in, and the games were actually pretty good. We would watch movies on them on the airplane, and it was the first. I wish I still had it right here. It's got to put my like old retro stuff back here.
That would be cool. That'd be awesome.
Yeah,
do that.
But speaking of in the background, look at this.
Yeah, Juggernaut cookies, y'all. Look at that. A little shameless plug for those delicious gluten-free protein cookies. Cookiehunk.com. Grab those. He got the real OG shit right there. He got
these. Get a close up of these right here. The diesel. I thought you weren't making these anymore.
So I'm not, but we put inventory together for in the holidays. We do holiday gift boxes.
Okay.
So make the people happy, give the people what they want.
And if you take one bite of those, you will be in heaven. The chocolate chip cookie was my all-time favorite.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think white chocolate macadamia nut was my favorite.
Okay.
Still my favorite. We're actually having a Christmas Eve brunch at the house. So, and / cookie bake off.
Ooh, nice.
So we're gonna have brunch. People are gonna come over. We're gonna eat. We're gonna play some Christmas games, and then it's gonna be a cookie contest. I think we got like 10 to 12 people entered already, and yep, winner take all. We'll put a big gift basket together for the winner.
I could see you going on the another show I was watching nonstop was the holiday cook-off challenges with cookies and cakes and but you should go on one of those holiday cookie challenges, cupcakes or whatever.
I go
Do you
on
bake your own stuff?
Well, this stuff, no.
Okay.
This is
But if
big,
you're like
big
planning
stuff.
this out, like
oh yeah, so like for the bake contest, obviously I'm baking my own. But but when I started Juggernaut Cookies, I baked all the recipes are mine. I made them all myself. And out of the 12 recipes that I had, 5 made it into company production. So Diesel being one. I mean, it's a chocolate chip cookie. You can't go wrong with that.
yeah. Oh, those Diesel. This is the chocolate chip thing.
Yes, the Diesel is a chocolate chip.
Favorite.
So, but yeah, stuff like this is fun. I'm huge into the holidays, man. I love, and Jamie's the same.
Yeah.
And we got the house decorated. We just want, and we're at the point now where my kids are old. My youngest is 21 years old.
Okay.
So we don't really give gifts. I mean, they're at the point and they just go and buy them, buy what they need and what they want. But, we love gift giving, so we try to do it in a way to make it entertaining for everybody, but also like because that's my giving gift is my love language. So I want to be able to bless the people that I love and care about with even if it's something small, like stocking stuffers. So it gives us a way to interact with each other, get people talking, get people enjoying. We're gonna have 30 people at the house.
Wow.
So it's gonna be pretty fun. Looking forward to it.
That's cool. We're heading to Knoxville, Tennessee to be with Wendy's dad and his wife for the holidays for the week. Oh,
Knoxville.
Is
there anything to do down there?
Dude, it's actually a big college town.
Yeah, well, sure.
And it's funny. It's a small town, but like if you go downtown, really cool. There's like kind of hip chic. It's a hipster city. So there's like a cool bowling alley. That's in a basement of this old building. That was really about it.
Yeah. Well, Christmas is that you got 2 modes of thinking. You got the one that I just went over where we just want to do all the things, get everything done. And then there's the mode where you just want to chill.
Yeah.
You want to lay back, drink eggnog, watch old Christmas movies by the fireplace. Like I get it. And I appreciate, both modes, but I just love to be around people and especially the people I care about. So it's going to be fun. And again, Jamie's the same. So
that's cool.
It's good Christmas energy.
The holidays, that's what it's about, right? It's supposed to be getting together with friends, family that you really care about and share the joy of life together.
Yeah. Right. We don't get enough of that, right? In this world. Like, and I feel like as we get older, and people like your friends start to kind of pull apart and get into their own lives, then we do less of that. Yeah. So it's cool to get together. Even if it's twice a year, So Christmas, that's my time to do that. Yeah. So I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be fun. And I'm gonna get some gifts too. So that's always a plus.
It's always good giving, but it's also good receiving.
Yeah, right. It's always fun to open gifts. Yeah. We're actually doing a Christmas trivia game, and I'm thinking about making it Christmas movie trivia. So where we're gonna put 2 teams because we're gonna have so many people there. We'll do 2 or maybe even 4 teams, and do like a Christmas trivia thing. And just ask questions, and the winner will give them like some $5 scratchers or some shit like that. Which has become like a big thing in Christmas, getting people scratch tickets. Yeah. When did that become a thing?
Yeah, I feel like at least 10 years ago.
Yeah, just scratch tickets.
Even before we moved here to Virginia Beach, it was scratch tickets like probably 20 years ago, I want to say. That's when I first started getting mine.
Yeah,
Like
getting scratch tickets.
Yeah, students would come in and they just, here's, Merry Christmas. I'm like, all right, cool. What if I win $1 million? Is it all mine? Or do I have to share it? I don't know.
Not over there. So did you hear about that story? I forgot what state it was, but it was a gentleman that used to go to this diner outside of town every year for Christmas, and he would give all the waitresses that worked at this diner scratch tickets. Or lottery tickets, not scratch tickets. And one year, one of the waitresses won. And their agreement was like, I'm going to give you, this is my gift to you. But if you win, share it with the rest of the waitresses. And everybody was like, yeah, great. And they did this for years because nobody really ever won.
Right.
Well, one year, one of the waitresses did win. And she was like, fuck this. I'm not giving anyone. I think she won like $1.2 million or something like that. And the other waitresses took her to court. And saying that, we had an agreement. And I don't know how it panned out, but in a situation like that, do you think that the court or the judge or the jury, whoever would, would make her give the portion of the money away?
I doubt it.
Or is it like possession is 9/10 of the law, bro?
Yeah. Like, I mean, if it's not a written agreement, if watching Suits hasn't taught me something, it was like, if it's not in a contract, then it doesn't matter. Like, you could handshake all you want. But,
right? Yeah. But that's still shitty, though.
Yeah.
I don't know how many waitresses it was, but, it's Christmas.
Yeah.
But greed is a real thing, too.
Oh, yeah.
And who knows what type of financial situation this lady was in. This might have pulled her out of the hole big time, know?
Generosity, when it comes to, like, I feel like we're very generous people. Like we're not wealthy by any stretch of the imagination, but we're very giving people, and we give what we can. When we go to church, we always put in the plate, and like, anytime I see during the holidays when the guy's ringing the bell, I always drop, whether it's spare change or a few dollars in there, like, but people become wealthy because are they not charitable or they're just really, I don't know.
Well, I think, and so there's two modes of thinking. Some people feel like you have to be like a Scrooge McDuck type motherfucker to be wealthy, and then some people just become wealthy through hard work and they don't mind giving it away.
Yeah.
I think you can be wealthy both ways.
Yeah.
There's something to be said for the person who was like, you can't be rich, you give it away type.
Right. Yeah.
And there's something to be said for the people who don't put as much of a emphasis on money.
Yeah.
And so they're more willing to give it away. I had an ex that grew up in a very not having money. She was like borderline like poor. And so she felt very like a stranglehold on all money that came in, and felt like she had to micromanage all money that came into the house. With me, on the other hand, we grew up not having money and not being wealthy by any stretch, like lower class, household. Mom worked 2 jobs, always did, sometimes 3 jobs, just to, make sure the bills were paid. And so things like that. So we understood, we didn't feel poor, but we understood that, if you got a Nintendo 64 for Christmas, mom went through the ringer to make that happen for you.
Yep.
And I feel the opposite way about it. I don't, I see money as like a vessel, as like ammunition, and the more ammo you got to shoot, the more likely you are to hit the target.
Right.
Thing. So that's the way I view money, and I don't mind, giving it away because you can't take it with you. Nope. Is what they say.
Yeah.
So within reason. I mean, don't give all your shit away. But
I think I don't know about I never went to college, so I have no student loan debt or anything. But I grew up a first generation American. My parents are immigrants, and they were in. My dad was a World War II. He wasn't in World. I mean, he was a kid when he was in World War II. But anyway, they struggled, so they didn't have anything. Everything, they would eat everything. They would save everything. My grandmother still would stuff her pockets with all the butter packets when we were at a restaurant. She would leave nothing. So I grew up with that. But now I'm I can't take it with me. And maybe it's in the 80s, you grew up in 80s and 90s, you grew up like everything was disposable. Right. Like everything was cheap. You could just throw it out. So, I don't know. Now if I have extra money, I buy boom arms.
Yeah.
I buy.
Yeah. Right. But
because I didn't have as a kid. And now I'm like, now I want it all.
Yeah. Yeah. But it all comes down to like, as we grow up as people, we start to develop certain value systems. Right. Your value system is like, you love this shit. You want to like your gauge of success is being able to buy new boom arms and new games and this and that. Some people love the hottest car that's out in the market. Some people want to have the biggest house. Like people be house poor so they can have the biggest house on the block because, for whatever reason. Some people live very modestly, but they'll take elaborate vacations, so it's just wherever your value system is, that's where your money goes. And there's no wrong answer. Like you do whatever your heart desires, as long as if you can make it happen, make it happen. And that's kind of the way I feel, at this stage of my life. Like, I don't care. I want my kids to be comfortable. I want us to be comfortable and be able to do the things that we like to do. We want to go out to a nice dinner, we do it. We want to go on a vacation, we do it. But I work hard as fuck to make that happen, so leave something to the kids. And that's one thing that my parents, my mom wasn't able to do is set us up, the next generation up with a springboard, I don't want to be one of those people that worth more dead than alive.
Right.
So that's kind of, that's my, I want to be able to give my kids shit now. I don't want to leave them money. Of course I want to leave them money, but I feel like the importance of leaving them money, being able to give them money for a springboard now versus getting old, dying, giving them life insurance or whatever estate that I have. And then, by that point, they've already made whatever life they're going to make for themselves. Yeah. Hopefully, I'm old as shit when I die. But by then my kids are, 50 years old, 60, 55, 60 years old. So, if, that's the case and they've already established what their life is going to be. So, let them build on it when they're young. Don't wait till they're old as fuck. They've already done it. Like, thanks, Dad, for the thanks, Dad, for the money after I've already built my own life. That's
true. Yeah. We were Wendy and I were talking after church. We went to breakfast and we were talking about the message was about and not that we're super religious, but we have faith. And it was like God is bigger, and it's like if you have faith, you will succeed or whatever. And then I started thinking, I was like, well, we don't have kids, but what we do have is we have employees, and our staff is like an extension of us, and they're going to carry on the legacy of what we developing this business. Right. And a moment of like, and I can't imagine when people have kids, the moment of like, I was like, oh man, if our business doesn't survive, or if we have a bad year or whatever, we won't have those jobs for them. We won't have that because all our staff is passionate. Right. And being a professional dancer, dude, I mean, he just had surgery in his neck. I had my second hip replaced, so we can continue doing what we do. And the sacrifice and struggle that is real. But this overwhelming feeling of responsibility of making sure that those positions are available for them and they can survive on that. I was like, holy cow. What does it feel like to have kids? Because that's like, when my parents had a struggle, how they came here, they didn't know the language, they had no money, they had like nothing. So, and I ended up okay.
Yeah. I mean, and that's a sign of what you saw growing up, that no matter how you were able to articulate that at the time, you probably didn't even know.
No, I didn't know.
Now, you're like, holy shit.
Yeah.
That, this is what I learned.
Dude, I remember getting pissed at my dad because we didn't have the Atari. I was like, when the Atari 2700 came out, I was like, why don't we have that? Why are we so broke? We're eating government cheese. I'm like,
shit, government cheese don't sound bad right now. Shit. I had we were definitely a ramen noodle family for sure.
Did you ever have the government cheese? I was doing some research.
I don't remember the government cheese. But we knew what we were eating every day. We were either eating because my mom worked, we had to basically fend for ourselves. My mom got home around 5:30 if she was coming home in between jobs, or she would go straight to the job. So if she was going straight from one job to the next, we knew we had to fend for ourselves. So we had to make sure the house was fucking clean.
Yeah.
And me and my little brother fought all the fucking time. We fought all the time. But we knew when mom was coming home.
Yeah.
So the house was clean. We had fed ourselves. Our homework was done. And it was usually like ramen noodles. Because you can get 5 for $1.
Yep.
There's a bunch of ramen in the house. Hot dogs, 8 hot dogs, the big 8s. I mean, I don't even know what that shit is made out of. We would have those, and that was dinner a lot of nights. But we enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Right. It was like, oh man, about to tear these big 8s up,
Yep.
shitty ass hot dogs. Or I don't know if anyone remembers the Murray Steakhouse. It was a steakhouse where you would go and buy meat, but they had a bunch of different food there, and they made these little 6-pack of mini pan pizzas, throw them in the oven, 350 for 20 minutes, and you had dinner. We love those fucking things, man. And all the stuff is inexpensive, and again, we didn't realize how poor we were, which is signs that mom's is doing what she's supposed to. She's doing the right thing, because she's hiding certain aspects of the things she has to go through from you, which it's hard to do as a parent, because you take on shit too.
Yeah.
Right. You take on the stress of not having certain things, or having to provide certain things, or making sure bills are paid. And for you to go through that and not project that onto your kids, it's tough.
Yeah.
So
for sure.
So for her to be able to do that was big.
Yeah. I started reading a book, David Goggins' book, his second book that he just came out with, talking about, who David Goggins is?
Oh yeah.
The struggle that he had growing up, that was real, man. Get hard.
Get hard.
But he was talking about his life and seeing his, going back and seeing, because he grew up in Buffalo, New York. I didn't know that. So I originally grew up in Rochester and like neighboring cities, and my grandmother lived in Buffalo. So when he was talking about the streets and where he grew up, and I was like, oh yeah, I know where that is. Dude, people have it hard, man.
Yeah.
And if you grow up, even if you're like your parents are struggling and you don't know you're poor or not, I mean, you don't know if you're, I don't know. I look back and I know we didn't grow up destitute, but we didn't grow up rich by any means, but we grew up happy.
Yeah,
and that's
the biggest thing, dude. That's the biggest thing. Like I meet people, and being in business and everything, you meet everybody, right? People, and you meet the majority of people you meet are affluent, come from affluent families, and to see the difference, because as we get older, those differences start to shrink, right? But to see the difference in the way that those families grew up in comparison to the way you grew up is so crazy to see, man. And then you look at people and how certain people interact with other people in public, the way that they conflict resolute, the way that they just deal with life as a whole. In your head, you'd be like, no wonder you're fucked up. No wonder you can't figure it. Because look at you. You grew up in an environment that didn't allow you to deal with these things, and now you have no knowledge on how to deal with these things. So, so you got to think yourself. You got to, for some lessons that you learn growing up, you got to be thankful, even if they're hard lessons. Because it teaches you how to be a more well-rounded person. But
very wise words. Very wise words. We can get deep on the Alpha Geek podcast. By the way,
it's not all about geeky shit. Trailers. So I just watched 2 new trailers. First, I saw The Boys season 4 trailer. Looks good as shit. It does look like they're trying to do almost like and we're not political here at Alpha Geek. But it does look like they're trying to do like right versus left. Like Starlight is kind of like a more liberal stand on heroes and shit like that. And then, of course, Homelander is more on the right. And those two factions are kind of, as their fan base and popularity grows, those two factions are starting to kind of fight, and there are certain protests and they're fighting each other and shit like that. And I feel like that's like an underlining tone for the show for this season. Okay. But the trailer looks good as shit. It does look good. Like they introduce a bunch of new characters. Who's the guy that played Bruce Wayne's dad in Batman? What's his name? He was in Walking Dead. He's Negan from Walking Dead. Yeah. I forgot his real name, but he's in this season.
Okay.
Yeah. So The Boys is probably my top 3 favorite shows ever. So
my brother-in-law was telling me, he's like, don't watch, oh my God, my fucking brain. What's the offshoot of that show?
Gen V.
Gen V. He's like, don't watch Gen V until you watch The Boys.
Yeah.
He's like, just stop right now.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go back. And watch The Boys first.
Dude, because I did, and I went back, I saw all the seasons of The Boys, and then, of course, Gen V comes out, and I watch it, and so now I'm going back and watching The Boys, and in the second and third season of The Boys, there are a lot of things that tell you that Gen V's coming. Like, I'm not going to ruin it for you, but there are. It's good, man. It's good.
I got to check that out. Okay, what other previews did you see?
Hot D. House of the Dragon.
Oh yeah,
House of the Dragon trailer came out, and Henry Cavill is on the cast. So,
did you also hear that Henry Cavill is going to be playing? Did we talk? Maybe we talked about this last time.
Yeah, Highlander. Yeah, well, I think we did talk about it. Yeah, dude, Henry Cavill. You can tell he's one of those actors that just does what he wants to do. Mm-hmm. He doesn't care if it's going to make money. He doesn't care. And he's a huge gamer. He's a huge geek in himself, and so he does the things that he vibes with.
Yeah.
And it's obvious from The Witcher, and then doing a Superman thing, and then The Witcher, and now doing this, and now Highlander. All of that is fantasy fictional stuff.
Yeah. So it'd be really awesome. I know Henry Cavill watches this podcast. So Henry, whenever you want to come in and do an interview, we would love to have you. So just reach out to either myself or
you know
Antoine.
him too? I didn't know you knew him as well. Yeah. It's weird how, up until like people, you had Christopher Reeves play Superman, you had Dean Cain play Superman, you had Tom Welling play Superman. You had a bunch of, Christopher Reeves, it was phenomenal.
Yep.
But people still think that Henry Cavill was the best.
I still think he's the best. I do. I agree. While I was out on the couch, watched Superman 1 and 2, and going back to the whole nostalgia thing, sometimes you just got to let nostalgia carry the movies, because it was, it was good, but I was like,
but the the CG and all the effects are signs of that time.
For sure.
Yeah, but you got to appreciate it for what it was.
And Christopher Reeve still would have been my favorite, but then I watched Henry Cavill, and he's just he embraces it. He is Superman.
But until the Superman Legacy comes out, and then I'm forgetting the actor's name that's playing the new Superman, but he's getting jacked.
Oh, is he?
Yeah, Comic Book Nation, which is one of the podcasts that I love to listen to. They put on their Instagram his picture from the gym, and he's getting jacked, dude. He's getting massive. So it's cool to see these actors kind of transform for this, because you got to take it seriously, right?
Yeah.
And it's cool to see these actors transform for these roles, man. It's very cool shit.
Who's your favorite Batman? I know mine.
My favorite Batman and favorite Batman movie are different.
Okay.
Bale was my favorite Batman. Christian Bale was my favorite Batman. Yeah. My favorite Batman movie, though, was Michael Keaton's first Batman movie.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think I'm with you on that one too.
Yeah.
Christian Bale for sure for me is Batman. Like he's awesome. But what I want to bring in the background here is I have some Michael Keaton Batman figurines.
Do you?
Yeah.
Oh, bring that shit in. What are you doing?
When Arnold Schwarzenegger played Mr. Freeze. I got to bring that in.
Yeah, dude.
They look totally awesome back here.
Man, those movies, were great, and you don't realize how good they were at the time until you see the shit that's coming out today. But those Michael Keaton Batman movies were legit. The first Batman movie will go down in history as probably the top 3 Batman movies ever, no matter how many they make.
When Michael Keaton reprised his role in Flash, I was like, damn, that's awesome. That for awesome. Me made that movie way better. Without it, I don't know if I would have.
That movie did terribly in the box office, but and I don't think it was as bad as the box office makes it look. Same thing with the Marvels, but having Keaton in that movie made it much. Really, the only knock on the Flash that I have is the CG. The CG was kind of wonky, and some of the CG and the Flashpoint storyline. Like again, we talked about this. DC has some of the best IP out when you talk about comic book and stuff like that. Just do that. Just go, like, read the book and just do that, and people will love it. And which is proof positive because all of DC animated movies are so great. Just do that shit in live action.
I hear you,
man. House of the Dragons. Looking forward to that. There was another trailer that came out that I was trying to watch. And I saw, and I was like, "Oh, that's going to be good." I guess it wasn't that important.
Okay. Well, check out after we're finished with this. See, look up Terminator. See if that's.
I'm gonna check out the Terminator. I love watching trailers. I hate when people spoil trailers though, or like, did you see the leaked pictures from the Deadpool set came out?
No.
Did you see that? Yeah, a bunch of leaked pictures. From Deadpool came out, and Ryan Reynolds, being the OG that he is, he immediately put out his own leaked photos, but they weren't the real leaked photos, and the internet jumped on that instead. And so now people don't even give a shit about the real leaked photos anymore. Ryan Reynolds is that dude, man.
He is.
He's a moneymaker. He knows how to make money. He knows how to entertain people.
For sure.
He's legit.
Yeah.
But I'm looking forward to Deadpool. They pushed that back. I think Marvel pushed the majority of their 2024 rollouts back by 6 months to a year.
Okay.
So are we getting anything? We're getting Aquaman
We're getting Aquaman. Yeah. Aquaman's coming out this month.
Yeah.
The movie that I do want to see, we're probably going to watch this weekend. I think it's on Amazon Prime. Was with Eddie Murphy.
Oh, Candy Cane Lane.
Candy Cane Lane.
Yeah, we just watched it.
Oh, is it good?
Yeah, it was good. It was very Christmas, nostalgic Christmas. Okay. It was like a Hallmark movie with great actors in it.
Yeah.
Like, if you take those shitty Hallmark, I'm gonna take that back. I'm not gonna say shitty Hallmark movies. But they put out a lot of them. It's saturated. Yeah. But if you take one of those Hallmark movies and you put great actors, it makes those movies 10 times better.
Yeah.
But I feel like that's what Candy Cane Lane is. It's really good. I enjoyed it.
Yeah. I miss Eddie Murphy stuff, so I'm looking forward to seeing that.
Yeah, Eddie's another one of those actors that does what he just wants to do. Mm-hmm. He did all the Doolittle stuff. You can tell he loves like CG geared movie and like effects geared movies.
So,
he does a lot of them.
He's brilliant.
Yeah.
He's brilliant. Did you ever see Sanford and Son?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. God.
Come on.
So on Instagram, I was just like scrolling and I saw an episode. We used to watch, and those shows, what was it, like Archie Bunker and Sanford and Son? I mean, they were just so probably wrong and like
oh yeah.
But like Red Fox was so talented.
Oh yeah.
He's so
hilarious.
So talented. But I don't know how I jumped to that, but I was just looking at your t-shirt and I was like, was there a live action movie of Thundercats?
So, oh yeah, thanks for peeping the Thundercat shirt. They were supposed to do a live action Thundercats. But for some reason it fell through. They did a reboot of Thundercats a couple of years ago. I think it might have went to Netflix. And it was pretty good. It was like just a modern take on the same story. And it was pretty good. But yeah, there was rumors that a live action Thundercats was coming out, but it never.
They did a reboot on He-Man, I think.
They did a reboot on He-Man.
Which my buddy Todd, he said I was like, I don't know. But he said it was good.
It was pretty good.
Oh, yeah?
It was pretty good. Yeah, they did a remake of that. I want to see, you remember Silverhawks?
Oh, yeah.
I want to see a live action Silverhawks, or at bare minimum a reboot or some sort of reboot. That show I think it only lasted like a season.
Really?
But that show was so good, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was awesome. Silverhawks reboot. Somebody do that.
Thundercats, though, I got to say, I did love that.
Who was their favorite, Thundercats character?
Chitara.
Yeah, of course. Dirty motherfucker.
No, my favorite is actually oh my god. We have Mumra, we have Pantero, Rhino,
it was Panthro. It was Panthro, Chitara, Tigro, and then Wily Cat, Wily Kid, and of course Lion-O.
I think I liked my favorite probably was going to be Lion-O, but
everybody loves Lion-O. I think Panthro
was like
he was the man.
He was the badass.
You could tell he was like the black guy of the group, right? My man had like nunchucks. He had like spike suspenders.
Yeah,
he was like the dude that drove the tank.
Yep.
Yeah, Panther was the man, dude. He was jacked with like nunchucks with claws on the end of it and shit. Fucking Panther.
Chitara though.
Chitara was so sexy.
Yeah.
Who was like the sexiest? Of course, you can never have it because she's a cartoon. But who was like the sexiest female animated person?
I'm gonna say Chitara.
Chitara.
Right. I can't, because off the top of my head, I can't think of anybody else.
Man. I mean, you got Jessica Rabbit.
Well, but that was growing up. I was a kid during that. Jessica Rabbit came out what was that? That was in the 90s. That came out. It was Roger Rabbit, right?
Yeah.
Roger
90s,
Rabbit,
early 90s. Yeah.
So this was 80s. So as a kid, who did I like? I was like, oh, she was cute when I was going through puberty.
Chitara just sitting in front of the TV watching Thundercats.
Like, her body looks different.
Give me some privacy, Mom. But you got...
Who was yours?
Oh, man. I would have to say... Power Girl. Power Girl from DC. She's the sexiest to me. So Power Girl is an alternate version of Supergirl in DC.
Oh,
yeah, she's like a Supergirl from an alternate dimension or timeline or whatever. And they always draw her with her like boobs, like huge boobs, and then her outfit has like a cut in the center, so it shows her cleavage.
Oh yeah,
I was like, what kind of gratuitous bullshit is this? I was like, Power Girl.
Man, growing up in the 80s, like those animators, those artists were probably messing with kids' dreams.
Hell
like,
yeah,
well, what can we get away with?
Man, did you remember the old X-Men anime series? It was like everybody from the 90s, the X-Men animated series. It was like Wolverine, Cyclops.
Oh yeah.
Dude, they would draw Rogue so fucked up. Like, they would draw Rogue ass out, like just in the beginning. I was like, we should not be watching this. Like I loved it as a kid, and you didn't even know as a kid how overly sexualized they were being, but. You look at it now, like, holy shit.
Dude, like cartoons now, just like, it's all like, it's so not, I don't know how to say it.
You think it's worse now than it was?
As far as what?
Like over sexualization of like the way they draw female.
Oh, I don't know. I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't think it's nowhere, because I think back then there weren't as many like restrictions as it is now. Like
for sure weren't.
The cancel culture didn't exist in the 90s.
Oh no, yeah.
So they can just go and just draw chicks
it's more I guess androgynous now. It's like they're trying to keep it as which is weird, because it's like I hear in the news all the time that like schools and books, they're like, I don't know. I don't keep up, but we don't have kids, so I don't know. Yeah. But like I hear that they're exploiting children more. I don't know. I don't know how to get into that.
Yeah, I don't even know about that aspect of it, but I know as when we were kids, like this, like the things that we would consume, I think all the females were sexualized.
Oh yeah,
all of them.
Yeah.
But because all of them were, we didn't realize that any of them were.
Yeah.
You know, because this is just the way things were. Like even like G.I. Joe, we talked about.
Oh yeah,
you know,
yeah.
Like
Scarlet,
She-Ra,
She-Ra,
remember Jim?
Yeah.
Like all that shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. Barbie, Jim.
Well, even what was it? Wonder Woman, the
Wonder
original
Woman, all of them. All of it was
Charlie's Angels. Dukes of Hazzard, like Daisy, like.
But you know that was it slowly progresses over time. You know, and I mean that came from the time where. John Wayne would like smack a chick in a movie. You know what I'm saying? Like there's some movies that were made in the 70s and 80s where dudes would straight punch a chick in the face, and it would be like, okay, you know? But, as we become more sophisticated as human beings, we know that that's not right. It's weird as fuck.
Yeah.
But, back then, John Wayne, like you have to smack him. John Wayne gonna have to smack him.
Dave Chappelle.
So it's so weird, man, that the entertainment that we consumed was that's what we saw, and that's what we wanted to be, that's what we wanted to do. But it was very, very rare that anyone that would actually act on that.
Right.
You didn't have friends going and like smacking girls, because even though we saw it and consumed it all the time, we knew it was wrong.
Right.
It's like, God damn.
Yeah.
Should I be watching this? You're looking around, see if mom's walking in.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if that's like, I mean, my parents weren't super strict, but they taught us, like, if we did something wrong, we got told.
Yeah. 100%.
I'm not saying we got beat or anything like that, but like,
we got whoopings all the fucking time. Moms spare the rod, spoil the child. That was her. Moms didn't fuck around, man.
I have a friend of mine. He's from Puerto Rico, and he always talks about the chancla. He's like, my mom would take the chancla.
The flip flop?
Flip flop.
Yeah. Oh man, yeah, man.
Cool, man.
Yeah, man. We want to wrap this bad boy up.
Yeah.
We talk about abusing women, which we would never do. Obviously, dude. One more thing I want to touch on with that. Even you're at the point to where you are consuming all of this media of women being overly sexualized, and like the abuse. The spectrum was pretty broad, but it was there. And now, as you grow up, do you feel like, and we've already addressed that, young men didn't do that all the time. And my mom, when we growing up, she was like, you never, no matter what, put your hand on it. You never touch a fucking woman. You never. And that's how we grew up, and that's what we learned. But we do see in some scenarios how women don't have a problem beating the shit out of a dude.
Yeah.
So in your opinion, what is a tolerable defense for a woman who is just like aggressively attacking a man? And I know what my answer is, but everybody's a little bit different. Like some people, and even some women will agree with this. They'll be like, well, shit, if she's woman enough to put her hands on a man, then the man should be man enough to, defend himself, So what is your take on it?
You don't retaliate.
You don't retaliate. In any capacity. So I feel like, and because I teach women self-defense for a living, in no situation should a man hit a woman. In no situation, no matter if she's just.
I'll say if Ronda Rousey's coming at me.
Yeah.
Right. And I'll be like, I will try to put my boxing skills, but I know she's going to kick my ass.
She's going to beat the shit out of you. Is it okay to defend yourself if you're going to lose?
Yeah. I'm like, she's going to kill me.
So I think and I tell even my female students this, I was like, if you're going to hit a man, be prepared to be hit back. I would never hit a woman in any capacity, but I do think anybody, men and women, have a right to defend themselves. So as far as like grabbing and restraining, I think if you're being attacked, then grabbing and restraining is okay for sure. Yeah, for sure.
I would imagine like to calm the situation or holding or like, but like straight up like punching.
Yeah,
don't like. Yeah. Like there's just you just don't do that.
It's like, you know, it's almost like the same scenario. You have a Chihuahua attacking a pit bull.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
You know that no matter how aggressive this Chihuahua is, this pit bull can, you know, do basically whatever he wants, and it's up to the pit bull to choose not to. Right.
Yeah.
And it's the same thing.
Yeah. You know, I guess it's like situation like what, like if you get somebody who's all like strung out on drugs and pulls a knife on you and it just happens to be a girl, like, okay, well, it's you know,
it's time to be out.
Yeah. I mean, if it's your life, like,
I'm running.
Doesn't matter what you are.
Like, I'm running from it. Like, you just remove yourself from that situation for sure.
It's but that's got to be like, do you come across, like, that's got to be tough. Like if a girl comes to you and is like, I need to learn how to defend myself because I'm in this situation, like that's got to be hard to.
It is because, you know, from a genetic standpoint that the male is, you know, there's exceptions to every rule, but for the most part, the male is always going to have an advantage.
Yeah.
You know, they're bigger, they're stronger, they're faster. Again, generally speaking. So, you know, you have to, when you teach female self-defense in general, but especially female self-defense, you have to teach that the person who is most devoted to surviving the situation is usually the one that's going to get out of the situation. And so then you teach the tools that it takes to be that person.
Yeah.
You know, and, you know, people in general, some are more athletic than others.
Sure.
More people have more of a capacity to learn certain things than others. So it's broad.
So in the fight game, like MMA fighters, like you got two guys, two girls going at it. Like who would be the more vicious fighters? Is it the girls or is it the guys? Or is it?
I think. I mean, that's a tough question. I think the men. Because the men have had, even from an evolutionary standpoint, we've been brought up to just to be more aggressive inherently, you know. So I would say the men, and everybody, man or woman, has the ability to be aggressive and has the ability to cause harm to another person. But us as men, we're more rehearsed in that, you know. So,
well, it's like not to compare it to dancing, but like when we do competitive ballroom dancing, like as a guy, like I would be more like competitive, like filled with rage to win, but Wendy would be more motivated to perform and to like look better than anybody else.
Right.
So it's like it's such an interesting, like, and so when it gets to the fighting thing, like it's you get two girls facing off, and I've seen some Instagram photos and videos of these girls, man, their faces are messed.
Oh yeah.
I'm like, like the bare knuckles brawl stuff. Jeez.
That's a lose-lose situation. The bare knuckle fights. I mean, I watch them here and there. I just actually saw the Platinum Mike Perry and Alvarez fight. They just fought a couple weekends ago or last weekend, and there's no winner in that.
No.
I mean, and I don't know how much like Mike Perry probably does pretty well because he's a big name, but these guys are making like, you know, $5-10 grand.
Jeez.
I mean, that's just hospital bills. You got to pay your management, coaches and shit. Ugh. And your hands, I mean, there's a 50-50 chance you're going to break your hand. And then, you know, there's no gloves, so your face is just getting just destroyed, man. So
man, I don't get that. Or like slap fighting, like that's another one. I'm just like, is that really a sport?
And they make no money. They literally make $5 grand.
The slap fighting?
Yes.
Yeah.
They make no money.
Dude, that's just like straight up asking for concussions over and over and over. Like, why? Like,
just smacking people in their fucking face. God, man, it's crazy.
Wow.
Man, any closing thoughts, Taras?
Yeah, well, if anybody's looking for some gift ideas for this holiday season, well, you could always visit your local Arthur Murray Dance Studio. More importantly, if you're in the Hampton Roads area, come visit us here in Virginia Beach, Arthur Murray Dance Studio. Give us a call, 757-431-0177, or visit our website, cutterug.net, for all your social dance needs. Antoine, how about you?
Yes, and it is the holiday season. If you're looking for a healthy treat for yourself or to give a loved one, check out cookiehunk.com. We have the most delicious gluten-free protein cookies you ever have. 12 grams of protein, gluten-free, non-GMO. So go to cookiehunk.com, use promo code CookiePro20 to save 20% on your entire order. You can find me on Instagram, Antoine the Juggernaut on Instagram, Antoine Brett on Facebook.
Awesome. And I got to come up with some cool Instagram thing.
Get on the gram.
But don't forget to like and subscribe to any platform that you hear the Alpha Geek Podcast on. And we are back, recovered, and healthy, and we'll be coming out with more content.
Yes, play it. Just let it play and play for your dog and just leave the room. Just let that shit run. Yeah. We appreciate y'all. See you soon.
Later.
Peace.